Okay, thank you for staying tuned to the radio 104.7 FM. It's 17 minutes past 9 a.m. We are glad to welcome you to today's program, The Polity, on the seriously authentic radio dial, Udala radio 104.7 FM on HR. My name is Frank Nebukan. Today being the 28th day of May 2026. Of course, it happens to be Thursday. On Thursday, we go back in the days to bring you, tunes from the past and other things that happened in the past that reminds us of where we started or where we began, and then talk about where we are going. So you are going to see all these things reflecting on our program this very morning. So today's very morning on The Polity, we are going to bring you all the developments as regards to news and current affairs in the country in the past 24 hours. We were here yesterday. We talked about the preparations for Children's Day, and it happened yesterday. So there are several reactions across the country, from the presidency down to different states. You are going to have them featured this very morning on this very program. The political parties are trying to finish their primaries ahead of the deadline, which was provided by INEC. According to INEC guideline, parties are expected to finish their primaries on or before 30th of May 2026, and the ADC has announced the outcome of its primaries. NDC is going to have its own primaries tomorrow. All the primaries are going to hold tomorrow for NDC. Talking about the presidency, the National Assembly, the State Assembly, all of them are going to hold tomorrow for NDC. Then if you leave the issues of the primaries, talk about other things that happen in the country. Yesterday, the president trended for a response he gave on a question which was asked him regarding insecurity in the country. That video has been getting some traction on social media. Those who are for Mr. President and those who are against him, they are using that very video to talk about the kind of response we do get from our leaders when issues of pertinent questions arise. Away from this, you also see stories about high rent in the country and what some state governments are trying to do to ensure that the common man is protected. You'll also see in the news issues about Omo-Agege resigning from APC. He hasn't declared where he's going to, but he said that he's going to keep alive the dreams and aspirations of people of his constituency. So if he's going to defect to another party to continue his aspiration, we did not know. But one thing he said is that APC, from today onwards, delete my name from all your records, even from your register. And that spells that he might have a dream to move into another party to pursue his political dreams. In Anambra State, we saw different withdrawals regarding NDC's primary. We saw some aspirants who withdrew yesterday because it seems like NDC is trying to build consensus within Anambra State. We're going to tell you all those things. Then in the course of the program, we are going to let you know ABGA candidates for different positions, different elective positions, because there are so many things out there in the media, people claiming that they won this seat, they won this flag, or they won that. So we are going to give you the rundown of that so that you know who is going to contest for a constituency using the umbrella of ABGA in Anambra State. So all these and more are going to feature in today's program. We ask you to stay with us as we begin to unveil what we have this very morning. My name is Franklin Ebuka. Antonio Disambeki is on the analysis desk. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning to you, Franklin Ebuka. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, the good people of Southeast. Good morning, in the Anambra. Good morning, in the Onitsha. Good morning, in the Osumo. Good morning, in the Afiandolo Ibo, the Nkuzi, Ndolo Aka, ndị na-anya ife na-agba tumtum, n'ụdị ọbụla, the commuters. We'll say good morning to our senior citizens, our elders, our religious and traditional rulers, those who are doing good. I will say good morning to every one of us, because we know that the social media is awash with quite a lot of development. Leak video, not leak audio, things like that. There's so many things going on as far as that media space is concerned. Well, we must also understand that as journalists and seasoned broadcasters as we are, we subject everything to verification, fact checking, and what have you. And we come out to dish out the truth to you. You're welcome, everyone. We thank God Almighty for His grace, for His love, for all He has been doing for us. And then we saw the Children's Day celebration across different states, and our people here, the debates. Many of you enjoyed it, because during the school debate, I'm aware that so many of you enjoyed the school debate. And that reminds me, during my time in CKC many years back, I was part of debate and dramatic society of that very college. I recall how we used to go to the then Anambra Broadcasting Service for this debate. I remember how we do those things. So when I saw these kids yesterday, it reminded me of my time. You know, that's just the saying. It was beautiful. Beautiful. At least we're going to sustain that. We thank you for your time. It's not easy to listen. And then, because for us here, we keep learning. We are back in the sanctuary, the altar of the Most High God, to evangelize, to profess the truth. That's the only thing we do. And I think there was this Reverend Father that sent me a message. Reverend Father Mary. I don't know. There was something he actually, pointed out earlier on, but I don't know if I can run through that. I know he's listening as we speak. As we speak now, I know he's actually listening. But I don't know if I can point out to what he actually observed about the polity, not really, I think, talking about Rangers International for their championship in our National Football League this year. But he was actually saying that he greatly regrets the seemingly no interest of Indian number in sports activities. Could it be that our government is not interested in sports? Kindly see what you can contribute towards this area. God bless you. Reverend Father DBC Felix Mary from Newi. I don't know. Maybe, Franklin, did we talk about Rangers clinching the championship?
Well, the one I'm aware that on sports, he featured on sports, and also there was a documentary that Ali Gumong was on. As of 2 days when we spoke, we went through the script. So I believe that by now the production must have been finished. But for Enugu Rangers, of course, it was a great feat for them. Winning the league, the MPFL, on the last day of the league, before the ultimate day. They were just 1 point above Rivers United, and they had a away game at Ikorodu City. And then Rivers United had a home game against Kansina United. So people were watching to see what is going to happen. So from the paper, it looked like it favored Rivers United to nick the trophy based on the fact that they were playing at home, and Rangers were going to play away in Lagos. But guess what? On that very day, Rangers International demobilized. They went with about 3 buses to Lagos. Apart from the fact the players and the crew, they went via air to Lagos. Then the supporters club came via road, and they got to the stadium, scored the first goal, scored the second one, and then Ikorodu City, they put one back. So the match became pressure soaked, because if they had drawn the match, it would have been different altogether. But guess what? Something happened on that very day. The match played for a long time, because by the time 90 minutes was exhausted, we were thinking that it was going to be maybe 5 minutes extra, or the 5 minutes at the time. And that match played for about 12 minutes at the time. So it was tension soaked, but at the end of the day, they were able to hold their nerves, and they won that trophy, I think, for the 9th time or thereabout.
For the 9th time.
And they, under the current chairman of Rangers United, Amobi, the young man, who was one time a player, they've been able to win 2 trophies within 3 years. I can recall last 2 seasons they were coming to Oka to play at the Oka City Stadium. I was going there almost every day, every match day, to see how they were faring until Nandaziki International Stadium was renovated, and they went back to Enugu. So for them, it was a good feat that they achieved. So when they now go to the continent, let's see how they were able to fare at that very level.
Just like we do, talk about Arsenal, and we're gonna just say 1 or 2 things about Rangers Football Club. For me, it's a great feat for the 9th time in their history. Rangers was founded in, I think, in 1970. That was when the club was founded. They won the tournament in 1974. They also won in 1975, and they also won in 1977 and 1981. I think 1982 as well. Even 1984. The last they won was their first title was, I think, 2016. They won that in over 30 years, where it was believed that they have ended that drought, and they went on to win in 2024 and now in 2026. For me, the coach, Fidelisi Lechuku, I saw the players eulogizing him for their commitment and all that thing, and that reminds us.
You know he's from Nnewi, right?
I never knew.
He's from Nnewi.
Fidelisi
Yes,
Lechuku. That Lechuku family, I think, is a popular name in Nnewi, and he has done a great thing. I remember, the club was coached by many great coaches, likes of Daniel Anyam and even Godwin Achebe. They produced stars who formed the backbone of the national team. I think if you can recall the Green Eagles at that time, including the likes of Christian Chukwu, Emmanuel Okala, and Loychus Atuebu, for those who followed football at that time. In fact, you can understand that even likes of Austin Jejo Culture was part of the youth team of Rangers, the youth team, yeah. Even Michael Emenalo, Onyeka Chiapam, Edward Ofere, and many others. Lechuku has been instrumental to the success in 2024 and also in 2026. He has shown leadership for me, and he deserves commendation. Remember, the club was founded by the then governor of East Central, because immediately after the Civil War in 1970, Rangers was founded, and then the governor of East Central State was Okpabia Anthony Asika, and he was the one that put up Rangers as a club, and from then Rangers has waxed from strength to strength, and we must congratulate them. And we must say this, that the Nigerian government must invest in sports. We want to provide enabling environment for investors, because they know, and we know, they cannot do it alone. They know they cannot do it alone, and we also know. What would the government do? Because the recent report we have is that the federal government yesterday approved the upgrade of different stadiums across the country. But why must we wait this long for this stadium to be upgraded? Why must we? If you look at Moshood Abiola Stadium, Abuja, and so many of these stadiums we have across the country, they are in a dilapidated state, very, very disturbing and worrying state. And we have said, can we concession this? Sports should be business. Look at some of these betting companies. They are making so much money from sports activities, but they are not investing whatever they're making in sports development in their home country. Can we have a law that says that so percent of whatever profit you make out of this should be redirected into sports development? But government must invest in sports, provide enabling ground, and also woo private investors to come into sports. There are so many things we can do to make it attractive, to make Nigerians feel this sense. If you go to Scotland, you see how the Scottish, how they follow their league. Most countries, yes, they are many of them may like Premier League, but they first and foremost follow their league. But many people here don't even follow our leagues. It's very unfortunate because we don't make it attractive, especially the broadcast system. There was a time they had an agreement with multi-choice on how these things will be broadcast, but at the end of the day, nothing comes out of it because people do not patronize such activities, and it must be done. At least it is even also important to ask this question: why don't we make good referees continental wise? I have not known since history if a Nigerian referee has ever made FIFA, I'm not saying FIFA bash, have ever made FIFA one of the referees of FIFA organized tournaments. That's the point I'm trying to make. Even a CAF, because of corruption, because we cannot sanitize the audience table, we cannot see somehow how we can tighten the loopholes. It is unfortunate that we will be having CAF award, because that's the next place we are going to have it. The next CAF award will be in Nigeria, where you cannot boast of a Nigerian referee, a Nigerian linesman. Things like that happen. Nigeria is a sports-loving country, and there should be reward for that. Government should see ways, avenues to make money. You provide infrastructure, you provide necessary logistics, you reap from it by taxing necessarily and appropriately from it. And that's for me investment, and government must invest.
Okay, just to add to what you said, because if we're going to grow a club football in Nigeria, a lot needs to be done. I can recall how we used to go to watch Enugu Rangers in Enugu, growing up in Enugu, and how it was somebody can trek from Abani Road, go to Gui Road, just to watch Enugu Rangers. Even when you don't even have much ticket, at a point in time we're paying 13 naira to go and watch Enugu Rangers then, because it was like a toast for everybody. In fact, many guys in Enugu, growing up, it was a dream for them to grow up and play for Enugu Rangers. I even know how some persons were even smuggling into the team then, just because they want to get the sign-on fee and what have you. But the thing is this, from years, many years back, when Enugu Rangers was the toast of everybody, we saw years of decay where there was abandonment, attention was not paid to the needed things. The team began to decay until when the current CEO was appointed. Talking about Amo-Agege, I think, yes, Amo-Agege, when he was appointed, I think that should be in 2023 by this very current government. And since then, they have been trying to rebuild Enugu Rangers. They are doing serious rebuilding, and that was when they brought in Fidelis Atiku as the manager of this very team. And since then, it's been a kind of a rebuilding process. I know their very first season when they won, then the past 2 seasons they didn't win because after the first season, many of the players left. They couldn't put things together, and they didn't finish very well. But this very season, they didn't begin very well. At a point, and they were around 8th, 9th position. But all of a sudden, Rangers picked up. There was a resurgence, and then the team continued and finished strongly. I knew that sometime they were affected by the absence of their coach, because their coach was going for a national assignment. He's part of the coaching crew of Super Eagles. So from time to time, he will go for national assignment. But at a point in time, the team peaked, and they kept their foot on the pedal till the end of season, and we have seen the outcome. So the next thing is now to be, how do you keep the players? Because by next season, they are going to go for CAF Champions League. And if they can't put their house in order, they will go there and might not even be able to make it to the group stage. So a whole lot needs to be done if we're going to make our league very, very attractive. We talked about those who are making money from sporting activity like bet company, not investing. The thing is this, I think it takes 2 ways to make it happen, because some of these people, they find it difficult to bring their money, knowing that when the money comes to the wrong hands, the money is diverted. But I believe that if they see a team that is doing that is doing what it's supposed to do, take for instance, Enugu Rangers is being sponsored by AfriInvest. AfriInvest. So I believe if they see a team that is doing what it's supposed to do, we can see sponsors who can actually invest in these very teams. And then talk about the government and other individuals. I think we have not been able to do what we're supposed to do to build our league, because those years of ICC and Rangers when we were the toast in African football. If you check our early teams were dominated by players picked from the local league. But these days, once you play one season in the MPFL, and it seems like you are shining, next thing is that they go out because the league cannot pay them. People now leave our league to go and play in Cyprus. People leave our league to go and play in South Africa. Look at South Africa. Sonda, is it? What I think is it?
Sonda?
Yes, that won the CAF Champions League.
Yeah.
Do you know that the owner of the club said, I think it's about $65 million that they won as a prize money? It should share among the players and the crew.
Okay.
So that tells you the kind of money they are pumping into their league.
It tells a lot.
And that will encourage players not to even seek greener pasture elsewhere
or transfers. Let's quickly wrap up because of time. The point is this: how much do we play, or do we pay players? How much are the players paid? I was told that some players are being paid 200,000, 250,000, and at times some of them are paid 150,000, and there could be times they'll be owed. And for me, we must standardize this. If you convert this to foreign currency, it's just a mockery. It's just a mockery. And there will be a standard. Players' welfare should also be looked into. Many of them playing in local league. What for them they believe is that they are trying to establish themselves to see if that they can be signed by any European club, we must find a way. We have talents. Most football academy that came up surprisingly from likes of many of them, I don't want to call their names, died off because there was corruption. Many of them were not living true to what they professed. Being that some of these academies were owned by ex-international, ex-Super Eagles stars, at the end of the day, it could not give what is expected. We must invest in sports infrastructure in this country. And the logistics aspect of it, we must also invest. The betting companies, they may not need to sponsor a team, but they should look towards investing in infrastructure, sports infrastructure. We can't make sports to be what it is, especially across different species and across different contestations.
If we talk about this from now to tomorrow, of course, we're going to see a whole lot of things, many of them, but we're going to live like this. Those people who are involved with a football management or football run in the country, what are they doing? What is their interest? Because some of them, their interest is just to have a football academies through which they can just to see how they can make money. Not actually to develop talent.
Yeah.
And for Anambra FA, let me just ask them. I was asking somebody 2 days ago, what is the generational benefit of the All-Stars game that they do organize almost from time to time? I know I have witnessed this for about 3 times. It's a good way to bring former footballers together to network and do what. But in terms of honing the talent, building for the future, what are we getting from this? So while we are doing for the All-Stars,
exactly,
let's also do for the young generation and see how we can help to nurture talents who can become stars of tomorrow. So on that very note, we are going to switch gears to bring you the headlines we have on paper this very morning. But we have to remind you that we are live on our Facebook page, Udala Radio 104.7 FM. You can watch the live interaction on that platform. We also live on our TikTok handle, Udala Radio. So get involved in this very morning's conversation. Stay with us.
You're listening to the Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, so you are listening to the Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. It's 9:40 a.m. My name is Franklin Ebekatuni Lisambeki is on the analysis desk, and we have to bring the headlines we have on the dailies now. We begin with the headlines we have on the Nigerian Tribune, which was founded since 1949. The big story here says Tinubu to parents, kidnap pupils in Oyo, Borno, you are not abandoned. That story is on page 4. He has a rider, abductees will be back home soon. Makinde gives assurance. Atiku emerges ADC presidential candidate on page 15. Omo-Agege quits APC amid Delta crisis on page 29. Nigeria East South Africa air cargo corridor cuts by 75%. Minister on page 7. Lagos unveils new tenancy bill to regulate rent hike. Estate agency fees on page 5. On the health segment, heavy marijuana use may increase lung cancer risk. Researchers warn. That's on page 6. External shocks, domestic factors pushing Nigeria's inflation higher. Expert on page 6. Governors Mark, Wike, Khan, others lament insecurity, preach tolerance, coexistent at Salah on page 30. FG revised 417 grazing reserves to enhance food security on page 4 of the Tribune. The writer there says Malls plan to modernize livestock farming. Then on Guardian newspaper, the big story there says bring back our students. Nigerians demand end to abductions, decry empty promises on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Guardian has an advertorial talking about 3 years anniversary message to Mr. President. I think it's coming from Abdulaziz Yari Abubakar. He's the one who signed that very statement, that very advertorial. The other headlines we have on the front page says 30,000 armed militants operating across Nigeria account for 1.3 million IDPs on page 4. Let's retake it. 30,000 armed militants operating across Nigeria account for 1.3 million IDPs on page 4. ADC coalition under strain as Atiku wins as Atiku's win reopens zoning debate. ADC coalition under strain as Atiku's win reopens zoning debate on page 6. Idel Kabiri, presidency preaches tolerance, unity, shared sacrifice on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Then on Daily Sun, 2027 Atiku woos Amechi Hayatuddin on page 27. And anti-people policies, NLC tells FG it has a rider president committed to easing Nigeria's hardship. Shatima. Idel Kabiri, Tinubu, Abdul Salami, Obi Wike preach peace, tolerance, unity on pages 26, 27, and 28. APC tightens grip on National Assembly. The story is on page 6. It has a rider expands majority to 282 in reps. As over 150 reps, scores of senators defect in 3 years. This one says rising rents outpace incomes in Abuja, Lagos as austerity worsens. President assures rescue of Oyo kidnapped victims soon on page 6. Ezekwesili attacks FG over non-rescue of kidnapped kids, accusing it of insensitivity. And you also see a picture story of Atiku Abubakar, and likewise a picture story of Mr. President and others, observing prayer during the Idel Kabiri. Then the last paper is the Punch newspaper. The big story there says Children's Day, captive Oyo Borno pupils cast shadow over celebration. Captive Oyo Borno pupils cast shadow over celebration on page 2. The writers say Tinubu Makinde reassure families as anxiety deepens over kidnapped pupils. Can NUT parents demand action on abducted pupils? Teachers threaten shutdown. Ogun to deploy Amotekun. Hunters in schools as fear spreads. This one says capital projects get only 26% of FG's 12 trillion naira loans on page 9. Trump directive triggered anti-IC strikes in Nigeria. Hegseth on page 8. Tinubu confers record 1,062 national honors in 3 years on page 10. Southwest on path to Northwest insurgency crisis. Retired general on 3. 2 Osun undergraduates killed in suspected court clash on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch. And the last headline says, or rather, not the last one, Omo-Agege dumps APC after senatorial primary defeat on page 7. Then the last headline here says, Opadokun names Mark Lamido Nwobodo among June 12 annulment signatories on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. These are the headlines we have this very morning on this very paper. So you run with us as we begin the analysis this very morning. And for the analysis, we're going to begin with a couple of things before we get to the issues on this very paper proper.
You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
All right, so you're tuned to Udala Radio 104.7 FM, and this is The Polity. Tony, yesterday we saw a trend of two things on the social media. One is what was said to be a purported voice recording of Mr. President, which was circulated, and it was attributed to a very dark man, in as much as he has denied that he didn't do that. But we saw the presidential aide, Bayo Nanoga, reacting to that, saying that very dark man is going to be arrested and prosecuted. Okay, let us say arrested, saying that he need to answer for what he spread. But from what we have seen so far, that very dark man has denied that he did not post anything, but rather it was a clone voice of Mr. President that he fell for. And people are now accusing Onanoga of falling to fake news. Tony, what have you been able to put together about that?
Well, we saw that yesterday, and it was everywhere on the social media space. And many people even called me to even verify the authenticity of such leak. But the truth remains that I saw the video message of the very dark man where he used some unprintable names to describe Bayo Ononoga. He called him names. and he said that he is currently in China and would be coming back to Nigeria anytime from now, that he will hasten up, that he would want to see to his arrest. Just like you pointed out earlier on, where the video or the voice was asking Peter Obi to step down for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It was alleged anyway that it was the president who was making the call, telling Peter Obi to step down, and other things said. I've not even been able to listen to the voice or the clip. I'm just trying to interpret what I read about the whole thing. But we are still to find out who may have uploaded that very clip till date. But why the very dark man or Martin also was angry was that Bayo Ononuga did not do his homework very well to find out who may have either leaked or uploaded the video on the internet. The purported leak, for me, is an AI generated, manipulated audio clip. It is not authentic recorded, because I have done my research. I have also done my homework, and I must say this. I recall, I'm saying this from the point of authority. I'm also a student and a graduate of artificial intelligence. When I see one, I know. When I see one, I know. In fact, I can take this space and start lecturing on artificial intelligence. I can take this space and lecture on artificial intelligence. I can do that. But time will not allow me to do that. But the point is this, because we have said this many times, he who alleges must do what? Prove. I think it was one of the things the very dark man was actually saying. He was making it known to Bayo Ononuga that if he is the one making such accusation, he should be the one that will substantiate such allegation as mentioned. But we know very well that even AI, we know, is a computational study of problem-solving capabilities of natural kinds or entities. And it uses a lot of things, machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, both computer vision, expert system, robotics, fuzzy logic. There's a one we call fuzzy logic. That one handles reasoning that is approximate rather than strictly true or false. Let's come back to that very issue. There was a voice. That voice appears to resemble Tinubu's voice. And that voice allegedly says that he called Peter Obi, that's the Labour Party, the NDC presidential candidate, to step down for him ahead of the 2023 election, or in context of 2027 ambition. And that voice includes other controversial statements such as not caring about hardship, using insecurity strategically, and also the one affecting the Southeast more, because Obi refused. The clip spread rapidly on WhatsApp, TikTok, Instagram, and even on X some days back. The question is, who leaked or spread it? Who leaked or spread that very audio? But there's no single confirmed individual who has come up or who has been proven to have leaked an original or authentic audio, because according to there were people that did fact checks. BBC did. I'm talking about Premium Times did. BBC Pigeon did fact check on this clip you're talking about. Premium Times did. And then I think there's also another agency that did their own fact check. They all confirm it to be AI generated. I'm talking about these people that I mentioned, Premium Times, BBC, and I also did my own fact check. So I can also add myself. Pure AI generated. But why very dark man, yes, Martin Vincent also, why he is central to the controversy? He posted an original Instagram video discussing Tinubu related topics, where he was referencing electricity promises and also general criticisms. He was actually very scathing about the president's administration, saying he has failed woefully, that he cannot even protect school pupils. And what is he coming back for? He was very scathing, he was very critical and unapologetic to his criticisms. He made that very video. He was talking about the president promising electricity, that where he asked Nigerians that if he could not provide electricity for them, that they should not vote him back. This is right there. But an unidentified person then extracted footage from Very Dark Man's video and superimposed the fake AI voice note onto it. That was what the person did. Very Dark Man was making video on Tinubu's electricity promise and general insecurity. But an unidentified person, what the person did was to extract footage of Very Dark Man's video where he was criticizing the president, and he superimposed the fake AI voice note onto it, creating the false impression that Very Dark Man was sharing the leak. And the manipulated clip went viral, leading the presidency by Oyo to blame Very Dark Man and call for his prosecution. And Very Dark Man immediately reacted, calling him unprintable names. I cannot call those names here. He called him unprintable and said that, he said that, whichever word he used, he will tell you, go to dictionary so you understand where somebody lack intelligence, diligence, somebody cannot even fact check something and things like that. Somebody who is not AI or computer compliant, things like that. He said that he was going to rush down to this country and see to his prosecution that he who alleges must prove. Of course, we know very well that we have said it many times, onus propandi incubit equi dicit, non equi negat. The burden of proof lies on the claimant as against the defendant.
Okay, so Tony, you have actually explained that very video, because I have the video, but I chose not to play because it contains misinformation. Exactly. So it will not be right for us to play that very video.
Yeah.
To play that very video. But having been able to explain, how somebody was able to create that very wrong impression that Very Dark Man was making a speech, they tried to mix things up and push it out as if it's original video. This platform keep on talking about this deep fake and AI thing.
Exactly.
How people can use AI to create things that will look so real that you watch and you say, I watched the video, but in real time somebody actually created something fake.
Exactly.
And make you to believe. Because when you talk about deep fake, simply means deep fake is make believe. It appears as if it's original. Now let's now talk about the part of the presidency reacting, and in this case Oyo reacting to that audio that went viral, and now he's being questioned about his tenacity to verify before responding. So what do you say about that, coming from a presidential spokesperson or presidential aide?
For me, he was carried away with the euphoria, the frenzy, the bandwagon effect of the spread. And we know how he's so much concerned in protecting Mr. President. But in doing so, you must verify every information because you have the necessary paraphernalia to do so. There are people working around you. You have an office. What does it take you to verify some of the things? And one thing he could have done would have been, because I believe if he's in such office, there are media agencies that he would easily work closely with. He could have asked any of them, please, can you help me verify this? As against rushing to make statements. Even Very Dark Man can as well sue him for defamation. Yes. And demand both damages, both general damage and personal ones, for what he may have caused. For me, we are saying this because we know. We are saying this because we know. He should have, I wouldn't say that he has not upgraded himself, because I know he belongs to old generation of journalists. He's a veteran journalist. He was a member of NADECO. He's an elder. But that doesn't mean that one cannot upgrade to the time and the moment we are in. He committed what we call foul play. He committed foul play. Professional foul play. That's what he committed. And he should do damage control. We have explained this here. For some friends that called me yesterday, there were those that sent the video to me, and I told them I'm gonna get back, but because of time I couldn't get back to them. But immediately I subject this into my AI laboratory. I have AI laboratory. I was quickly able to confirm some of these things. But we must be honestly committed, professional, fauper, just like I said, and he should do damage control as a result of it.
Okay, so we promised you something that we're going to give you a rundown of those who emerged from ABGA primaries for different elective positions, so that we have clarity in respect to the list being banned everywhere on the social media. Not talking about the candidates of ABGA for 2027 general election for the Senate. These are the people who were elected for Anambra Central. Adozie Nwankwo for Anambra Central, he's from Enugu. Then for Anambra North, Stella Toa. Then for Anambra South is Imam Machuku, the candidate. Then come to the House of Reps for Anambra East West Federal Constituency. Chinedu Benjamin Obidigwe, he's the flag bearer. For Agwata Federal Constituency, for BK Lawrence Chibreze. Then for Oka North South Federal Constituency, Nwankwo Obi. For Junuko Fia Njikoka Anocha Federal Constituency, we have Oli Chukwu the Prince. Then you go to the Obaro Federal Constituency, Onyema Wilfred Chukwuka. DK Obim Vincent is for Newi North, Newi South Ekusigo Federal Constituency. DK Vincent is the PG of Orifite.
Yeah.
And then for Ihiala Federal Constituency, Pascal Bodiko, of course, is returning.
Yeah.
Then for Idemli North and South Federal Constituency, Ikenna Obuneke Yebu, Ikobikibana, right? Yeah. Then for Onitsha North South Federal Constituency, Honorable Anthony Amechi, the current mayor of Onitsha North.
Yeah.
And Nwankwo Odira Camillus is for Urumba North and South Federal Constituency. Then for Oyi Ayamelon Federal Constituency, Honorable Maureen Chingwacham. These are the ones who are flying up gas flag for the National Assembly. Then quickly for the state constituency, let's see how quick we can do this. We are seeing many casualties. Yeah. Many current members are not going to return.
Exactly.
Okay, so for Agwata one state constituency, we have Baleke Emmanuel Anayo, Mo Bike Anthony for Agwata 2, he's returning. Mweke Obi Callistos, Anambra E State constituency, Ikechi Felix Unojo from Anambra West State constituency, Obiadin Dubisi Ayodele for Anocha State constituency, Ejio for Ikobi Christopher for Anocha 2 State constituency. Then we have Ekebue Emmanuel Chinedu for Oka North State constituency, one for Samuel Igwedema, Oka South State constituency, Ebutu Boniface Onyedika Chukwu for Oka South State constituency, Obudezi Emmanuel Chinedu for Ayamelum State constituency, Ebu Mada Buchi Onyekwelo for Dunikofia, or for the Miken for Yokusigo, Apwa Jude Ejikeme for Njikoka 2 constituency, Ibe Meke, or rather Ibe Meka Chidebele Namdi for Njikoka 1 constituency, Ilo Chukwuebuka Golden for Ihiala 2, Ngobili Jude Chimezie Ihiala 1, Igwe Chukwuebuka Nadozie for Idemli South, Onochie Chibuezem Kingsley for Idemli North, Ilekapo Chukwuebuka for Newi North, Atuchuku Nonsochudi for Newi South, Akebo B John Bosco for Newi South 2, Ibwe Chinosonobu for Baro 1 State constituency, Honorable Udeze Santochki Nkem, Baro 2 State constituency, the current speaker, and for Onitsha North 1 State constituency is Honorable Mimi, former Azikiwe. And then for Oyi State constituency, which has been controversial, the name of Ibe Mese Kosi Sojuku Augustine is there. Naka Stanilos and for Orumba South constituency, Nwobu Cyril Chukwudi for Orumba North, Abudo James Ibe Zimako for Onitsha South, and then finally Okafor, Kamakasha Drag for Onitsha North 2 state constituency. So all of them, only one woman.
All right, I think let me quickly point that there were those that lost to the new entrants. You mentioned some of them, but I want to highlight few because of time. We don't have time. The Honorable Innocent Ojikam of Oyi constituency is the incumbent. He lost to Kosi Sochoku Ibemesi Augustine Igligi, the one that has a social media trend.
I heard he's about 27 years old.
And then, of course, but in the courage, and he likes all this display. He does this outlandish.
I think they call him. Is it Igligi or Arose Okuzo? That's one name they also call him.
I think they call him Igliga Ako. You know, I see some of them on social media. I say maybe that's youthful exuberance for me anyway. It's youthful exuberance, just much of the one of I am Isienyi of a person. And then we also have Honorable Ipunne Shimezie, who lost to Ekebo Emmanuel, and our own friend that usually come here. I don't know if he contested. Ejike Okechukwu. He actually, for me, a lot happened with this because he had interest of going for House of Representatives. And when it was made known to him that the party has closed its ranks on a particular person, he pulled out. But he didn't plan to go back to the State House of Assembly. Of course, he has been a very strong supporter of the governor. But many people felt, why couldn't he come back? And then if you look at Isienyi, from PDP down to Abga, he moved to Abga believing that the savior will remember him. And when he got to Abga and understand that there is no space, or there was no space for him, he moved back to NDC, hoping to use obedient wave to make breakthrough. But he was also reminded that there's no specs. And his good friend, somebody Okafor, I don't even know the name of that very person very well, but you know the person I'm talking about. The one that usually writes either for him or against him.
Is it Chukuma?
Chukuma Okafor, something like that. Started writing, attacking P2B again. Why not playing that kind of level playing politics? He's championing at the national level. Because he doesn't want to provide level playing field for those who would want to contest primaries under NDC. He was making case for Isienyi, saying that he has penciled one person to give him the ticket, thereby shutting the doors for any other person who would want to have a fair, playing space. He has been very scathing, but Val Lobianyem has also replied him. And he in the wave of that, he started attacking Val, saying that Val did not answer the critical question. The critical question is that what Obi is professing, they call Obi a hypocrite. That what he's professing at the national level, he is not in any way implementing it at his home base. And he said, Val, you've not answered the question. Why is he favoring a candidate and trying to give ticket that he has selected those he would give ticket to? That for him, that's not democratic. It's not primaries. Chukwumoka, go and read so many of his posts, and he's making case for Isienyi that Isienyi has been sidelined. He has been abandoned. He has been skimmed out without level field provision for him to contest. But just like I said, political parties, they have the right and powers to make their nominations, but it must be in compliance with the necessary laws and provisions.
Okay, so let's do a reflection on the Children's Day that was marked yesterday across Nigeria. It was held in Anambra City. It was done at Alex Ekweme Square, and we saw children, doing their march past. In fact, different media houses also took time to bring children on board to be part of their programming. Here on the other radio, we had our debate, which was on access to phone by school children to know whether it's a freedom for them or whether it's a risk, and also how the kids fared yesterday. So across Nigeria, that happened, and as usual, we saw different speeches being made by governors and the president, giving assurances of inclusion. They're going to make policy that are going to advance the cause of the children and what have you not. We're not going to remain on talking about what they have done and what they have not, because yesterday we dealt extensively on that. Now, going forward, looking at what some people did, what the radio did, and what other persons did. So, what do you like to see going forward? How we get to accommodate children and make plans for them?
Well, we must catch them young. There is this aphorism, this norm, precepts that says catch them young, and that we must do. We've yesterday exposed a lot of them to some of us that are very unsuspecting in their potentials and talents. These kids, for me, they are talented. What we lack in this country is necessary tools, facilities, infrastructures to make them world-class children. I don't see any form of deficiency in their mental acuity, in their mental positions, and also extrapolations compared to what we have in other countries, in other climes. That's why when our kids, if they live here, they do make us proud. In most countries, they do visit because we have felt them here. We have felt these kids. We have felt them, our generation ahead of us, generation of Obasanjo, Buhari, Tinubu. We have felt these kids, honestly. And for me, if I were president, I will apologize to Nigerian children. We owe these children apology. Yes, we owe them. The kind of life and the welfare they are probably, whatever you call welfare, you think they are having, that's not what they're having. These kids, they have shown capacity, they have shown competence. But look at where we are keeping them. Look at how we have made things to look for them. Honestly speaking, just like I said, we owe them a lot. They did not make the choice to come from this country. We don't have programs to make their living memorable. We don't have those things here. Apart from the issue of fun, because learning is, there's this, I don't know, I don't want to go deep into this. Learning and playing, these things are synonymous, especially when you are talking about a child. Learning, playing, and there are plays that are learning built. They have inbuilt learning capacities. We have failed them as a country.
So let's talk about what the president said yesterday. Yesterday he urged parents of school children who were recently abducted in Oyo State and those also abducted in Borno State that they should keep their hope alive, that the government is not going to abandon them. He gave this assurance that the victims are going to be rescued soon, alive. And it was a statement he personally signed yesterday to mark that Children's Day. And he went on to acknowledge that he felt the anguish of the parents, saying that federal government is working together with the state government to ensure that these very kids are going to return alive. And people are reacting, saying whether that speech or whether that his statement was inspiring and assuring enough. If we are going to if we are going to keep him, if we are going to take him by his words and give them a chance to see if they are going to rescue the children who have been in captivity for a couple of weeks now.
Recall very well that these kids in question, they were kidnapped sometime around 15th of May. That was when they were kidnapped. The children and their teachers kidnapped in a really local government area of Oyo State, in communities around Ahoro, Esinele, also close to Obomosho Community High School, Ahoro, Esinele, and Yawata Baptist Nursery and Primary School in Yawota Nursery pupils were kidnapped as well. About 39 of them, or 45 reports, some reports have it that they were about 45, some say 39 and thereabouts. If you look around, they were abducted and kidnapped by gunmen on motorcycles that stormed the school around 8 to 9 a.m. simultaneously in a Gestapo manner, Gestapo style. We know very well that one of the teachers was killed while fleeing. The mathematics teacher Michael Oyedukun was beheaded while in captivity. They displayed the video. Now, the Nigerian government incompetence in releasing this case is a grotesque, soul-crushing spectacle of breathtaking failure for me. That's what I see, because I'm concerned, I'm so emotional about this incident, owing to the fact that we are talking about children. Honestly speaking, a bloated and lethargic behemoth that stumbles from one preventable disaster to the next, while ordinary school children pay with their blood and tears in the face of these horrific school abductions.
No, so are you saying that that statement by Mr. President didn't give you any assurance that government is stressed about caring for children's protection?
First, when this incident happened, it took the president and the Oyo State governor, Sheyi Makinde, some days to make statements. And the president's statement was signed by Bayo Ononuga. The first he released, I think it took him like 3 days or thereabouts. The day he did his own statement was the same day Oyo State governor did his own statement. But we have not seen Mr. President address this issue in any of the events he had had. For me, I wouldn't have Salah. If I were the president, I wouldn't have Salah while these kids are in captivity. What's the sense of having Salah celebration? I'm not saying that people who are entitled to, they should not have, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying as a president, because that is the paramount, because we are talking about kids here, we are talking about children here. And every other thing Mr. President does should be on hold. He should pause any of his routine activity. First thing he should take into consideration should be to the release of these school children. He made statements yesterday. Could it be because we are talking about Children's Day celebration? That could be the reason Mr. President made that very statement. But his new jerk statements on Children's Day, assuring parents that their kids have not been abandoned, rings hollow as a discarded promise. Weeks later, victims remain in the forest, exposed to rain, exposed to hunger, the trauma, the terror, while the government recycles the same tired script of rescue efforts ongoing.
All right.
And perpetrator, is a recycled script. Perpetrators will face the full weight of the law. That's what we keep hearing. But the point is this: government should show more competence. I'm not saying that the way things are, because we know it's as a result of our failures many years ago. I'm not saying that the president came on board and started it. No. It's as a result of our failure many years ago. You know, I said we owe Nigerian children apology.
Now,
we must apologize.
Talking about owing apology to Nigerian students. Yesterday, I don't know if you saw what happened in Edo State during Children's Day celebration. A report available to me, which has been confirmed by Edo State government, is that more than 30 children were hospitalized that Wednesday because there was a chaos that broke out during the Edo State Children's Day celebration at the Samuel Omoagege Stadium, which is in Benin City. From what we gathered so far, that very incident began after a private bouncer discharged pepper spray. That was during an altercation at the crowded venue. And guess what happened? There was a panic at that very venue, and then stampede broke out. Then several people, mostly girls, they fainted. They experienced breathing difficulties during that very confusion, and later they were taken to hospital for medical attention. Some of them were taken to a Edo specialist hospital for treatment. And like I said, government has confirmed that, saying that it didn't involve any government security, rather it was a private bouncer, and they are saying that the person involved has been arrested while they go on with investigation. So that tells you about management. When you have a kids event, how do you manage it to ensure that there's no pandemonium, there's no chaos, and other things. If you see the video, you see how school children were lying on the floor with heavy difficulty in breathing.
Well, that tells you the agony of Nigerian children, the agony, the sorrow, the pains of Nigerian children. And we've said this thing: we must treat these children with utmost care. You know, there is this thing we usually see on most trucks conveying petroleum products, highly inflammable. You see it well written. These kids, why you see that is just for you to be careful with the truck. And if I'm to use such analogy, our kids are highly inflammable. Flammable in the sense that we must take up appropriate care, caution on how we. You know one thing about trauma doesn't leave you so quick. It stays with you. It lives with you. It turns a lot of things around you. It makes you to be who you don't want to be. Trauma. That's what these kids are exposed to. The incident you are talking about is one of these, some incident. We don't have so much policies to protect these people. Look at the bouncers. Look at what they're doing. Look at the story. It's very appalling, disturbing, troubling to hear just what you narrated. But I know that there is an element of truth. It's not about the students, because we saw many state governors, the kids were doing their march past, governors taking salutes. It goes beyond that. And remember, families where these children are coming from should be supported. What is government? What are governments across different strata doing to support the families? Because they are not in isolation. These children, they are not in isolation. They are products of different families. What are those things we are doing to protect families? Because once you try to protect them, you are inadvertently protecting these children.
All right, let's wrap up this very conversation about the president, the speech he made about the children's day, and then the interview he granted after he observed his Salah prayer. He was met by journalists who asked him questions about a couple of things. He has a message for the Salah, and then he now made a statement in response to a question regarding security, which people have been trending online. Let's get to listen to him, and then we conclude this.
Well, we thank God, Almighty Allah, for us who had provided for us and keep us to see another year, another Eid Kabir. We thank His mercy, and we must learn from the lessons of this season, and is showing love to one another, no discrimination, no ethnicity, no hatred, and we should share love and be generosity to one another in a way that will reflect the value of our country and the humanity in us. It is essential that we be very tolerant, be obedient to the wish of Allah, and obedient to the rule of law, which must guide our society. That is it.
Thank you
very much.
Issue of insecurity.
Issue of insecurity, that is the law. That's obedience of law. Nowhere in the holy teaching that you should engage in banditry. Nowhere that you should kill another human being. The sacrifice we are talking about, even in the beginning of life, where we take this from, a child was replaced with animal, and that is what the value of life is all about.
Thank you, sir.
Tony, people have been reacting to this. They are saying, was the president trying to dodge the question, or that he responded to the question based on what he understood? Because he was asked about the insecurity in the country, and this video or this audio is been getting different bashing from Nigerians.
I understand the concerns of many Nigerians, because Mr. President was asked questions directly on insecurity, and many Nigerians had expected the response of what he has been able to do on how, or probably how he has been able to stamp insecurity, or what he's doing. He started saying something about you have to keep to the obedience to the law and do this, and the different religions, they never preach this, they never preach that, banditry, this, that, and many were disappointed. I understand that disappointment, because for them he did not answer to the question. Insecurity is what is threatening the unity and the also lives of many Nigerians, and they had wanted to know what the president has done since he assumed power, especially in that area. Apart from the budgetary allocations we have seen so far, what other operations, measures, policies that the government keeps putting in place to ensure that they contain this anomaly. And probably that was what many may be expecting, but they were disappointed that the president did not answer in that direction. He was speaking from moral perspective. That's where the president was coming from. And we know very well that all these morality of a thing without concrete action and steps taken will take us nowhere. They were disappointed on that ground. I think that's what I felt.
So was it that he didn't understand the question, or it was one of those low moments as a president?
Well, for me, I think he was just coming from Eid ground where he had gone to pray, and possibly he may not have understood the question the way the person asking the question asked the question, and he answered the way he thought was right in the spirit of Eid al-Kabir, because he was coming from Eid ground where he had gone to pray. So he was asking in relation to that, trying to bring the perspectives of morality, obedience to different teachings, both in Christendom and in Islam. I think that was where he was coming from. But to the chagrin of those who had expected something more declarative as government actions and policies, they were disappointed.
Okay, so we talked about Omo-Agege, who is leaving APC. He said the party no longer represents what he stood for, and he said he can no longer be in a party where even his views, even his expressions or his desires, nobody gives heed to that. So he's going to leave. Like I said before, that he has not declared where he's going to. That's number one. And number two is that ADC has declared Atiku Abubakar winner of the primary that they conducted. So they sold about 1.8 million votes, I think, to defeat Mechi and Hayatuddin, who had earlier rejected the primary. So ADC now has a candidate. Then NDC is going to conduct its primaries tomorrow. All the primary elections for NDC, they are going to hold tomorrow. For the state assemblies, they are going to hold at different state levels and what have you not. So plenty of things they have given as their guideline. But one thing stood out. They said every person who has purchased interest form in the race, now anybody who has paid for the expression of interest form, the person is going to go for the primaries. Then those who emerge successful can now go ahead to pay for the nomination form. So Tony, what do you think about this?
Well, let's begin with Omo-Agege, our own man that went and stole the mix during the time of Buhari.
Did he?
He did. We saw him.
He stole, or he hijacked?
He stole. When you took something that you shouldn't have taken, that's stealing for me. What do you call hijack?
So can it be in that realm of stealing?
Of course, there was,
knowing the power struggle then in the house.
There was legal action instituted against him, but being that he was in alignment with the government in power, that was killed naturally. There was legal process that was instituted at that point, but we didn't know how. The police kept telling us that they were still investigating until that matter died naturally. He stole the mace. You cannot refute that. But we know very one thing is that politics, power is transient. Especially people should know that political power is transient. It transitions from one angle to the other. Nothing is permanent. I've always said this. Even in politics, there is no permanent friend, no permanent enemy. What is permanent is interest. Even at a point, the interest will begin to wane. Yes. It's somehow, for me, Omo-Agege, I wouldn't say he's the latest victim.
So how did he get to the periphery of Delta politics? Because at a point in time, he was almost like the sixth in command in Nigeria, and he held sway within the APC. So how did he get to this level whereby his opinions and views became inconsequential in Delta APC?
That was the moment the governor of the other states, Boroweri, joined APC. Immediately he joined APC. I know that his days in APC are numbered. That movement alone, not just him, even Ned Nwoko was affected because the governor, everything was considered to him, 100% structure. The truth remains that Omo-Agege, of course, we know very well that he has been in politics for a very long time. And he was defeated by the candidate of the governor, the person the governor had wanted to defeat him, Senator Ede Dafione, the incumbent senator representing Delta Central Senatorial District. He defeated Omo-Agege in that APC senatorial primary for Delta Central. Senator Dafione, I think he put about 116,000 votes. You can imagine the figures that they are bandishing. 116,000 votes or more. And they gave Omo-Agege 3,000 plus. You can imagine the difference. The incumbent senator is the candidate of the governor. And that was exactly what happened. And the margin was overwhelming. We are told that Dafione won across the 8 local government areas in that senatorial district, Delta Central. Well, Omo-Agege has said that he's leaving, but we don't know the party he's heading to here is headed towards. We don't know.
Do we see him going to the NDC?
That is a likelihood. The likely destination could be ADC or NDC. And remember, being a former Senate president and a prominent Urobo leader, the news I'm getting from some quarters is that he's heading to NDC, not even ADC, because he wants to utilize the wave to see if he can make anything. And he has vowed to defeat Dafione in the main election. Well, there was even...
he said, my focus remains on delivering development and effective representation for Delta Central, Delta States, and Nigeria. I will pursue these goals outside the APC.
But that's just what he said. And the reports have it that he's heading towards NDC, but they have not been confirmed. What about Aisha Yusufu that lost the NDC senatorial primary for the Federal Capital Territory?
Tony, did she actually lose because the primary has not been held?
From the reports I have here, I stand to be corrected.
Are they talking about maybe consultations for consensus? Because all the promises are going to hold tomorrow.
That's what we are told. But the point remains that it was everywhere. I don't know if... before we leave here, I will confirm this very development because it's everywhere on... and it has not been... refuted, even by Aisha Yusufu. Many national dailies reported it, and I had waited to see her to come out and say, no, that's not true, nothing held. But for everybody to keep quiet to it shows there could be an element of truth. But just like I said, before we leave here, I'm going to confirm that. But let's talk about the report itself that many dailies reported, which she has not refuted, that she lost to, I think, to Barrister Amanda Palm. I think the woman is better known as Grandma or Mama Pam. That's what the woman is known for. Well, we are told that the primary held around 26, just like you said. We are yet to authoritatively confirm, but before we leave, we are going to do that.
Okay, so at this point, we're going to go for commercial break. After the break, we are going to open the phone lines, and then in the course of the conversation, we're going to chip in more things. In Anambra State for the NDC, I talked about the withdrawals. The likes of Chris Azubogo have withdrawn. Chris Azubogo was going for Senate for Anambra South. But after consensus building, he steps aside for Ebuka Onunkwo.
No, he was told directly that Ebuka Onunkwo is a candidate of Peter Obi. He was communicated that Peter has chosen Ebuka Onunkwo, the man we all know as Seahorse. And then he said that party is supreme. Party is supreme. You know, if this had happened in another political party, there are those that will be very quick to say what kind of party. But then it was communicated that Ebuka Onunkwo is a candidate of Peter Obi. And that's the person he wants as the candidate of the party for Anambra South. And he respected himself respectfully. He said that he is withdrawing from the race, and that's exactly what we saw.
Okay, so let's go for this very commercial break now. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM.
Julie, these people take too much for your face now, no?
Oh boy, I don't tire. Even the rashes and eczema for my body, if you see them, you go run. I don't try every soap and cream, but you know they come out.
No worry, when you take MSC Calskin C cream Hamaram, then go come out by force.
You say waiting, MLC Calskin C cream?
Bam! Then be the new formula for take fight pimples, rashes, eczema, dandruff, boils, whitlow, ringworm, scabies, shaving rashes, foot rots and more. Just clean the affected part with soap and sponge and rub the cream to enter the skin wella 3 to 4 times per daily, and everything will disappear within 3 days. Now product of Johnco Ventures Nigeria Limited, number 7 AZ Huaku Street, Mwepa Layout, off kilometer 7 Onisha Owerri Road, Onisha. Phone 08033941979 or
09136855119.
MSC Caskin C Cream, war against skin infections. African Gold Award winner 2011.
Diocese on the Niger, Patterson Memorial Grammar School, PMGS, Onitsha, is offering admission into JSS 1 and JSS 2, SS 1 and SS 2 for 2025-2026 academic session. Form fee is just 5,000 naira. Patterson Memorial Grammar School will give you conducive study environment, moral upbringing, learning-based activities, qualified teachers, integrated approach, sports and learning space are also available. Boarding facilities are also available for all classes. Patterson Memorial Grammar School, let the light shine.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic. You're listening to The Polity. Get involved now.
Okay, so it's now 10:36 a.m. and you're listening to The Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. My name is Franklin Ebekatono Disambeki is on the analysis desk, and we have brought you a couple of things. So we're going to open the full lines to take your input. You can as well your view on other things we mentioned earlier that we haven't brought analysis on. Like I said, if time permits us, there are other things we might want to chip in the course of today's conversation. The phone lines is 0803-221-6973 or 0803-827-6694. Let's hear you. Hello.
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 Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
It's Odessa. Let me move away from the radio.
Okay.
Good morning once again. Tony, good morning.
You're welcome.
What of Chisom?
She's somewhere around the corner.
Okay. I felt deeply touched when Dr. Tony was talking about our children. It's even worse when you are in the Coral Road area, not township. You see them, no food, no clothes, nothing, and their parents are worse for it. And we're not doing anything. It's not like in those days where you can make meal and call children to come and eat. These days they may not even want to eat it because they think probably you poisoned it. Is that bad? So I don't know what else we have to do. We talk to church. Maybe church will sit up and begin to do something better. The church has become so funny. The church now is class. You don't belong to a certain class, you don't go to some churches. You go to the church, you don't have where to sit down. And poor children are left outside. So please, let us all put our hands together and look after our children. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So Tony, please take note in case we have time. There's something trending now from Abia State. Yesterday, Abia State Governor Alex Oti, he commissioned the bus terminal he built. Yeah. And he named the bus terminal after Professor Nenna Oti. That professor of Futo who stood her ground during the announcement of election result. And people are criticizing him, saying that it was a kind of a primordial for him to have named that. So it's been like a contest between, honoring those who stood for the truth when they are alive and then honoring politicians. If we have time, we'll be able to delve into that later. Yeah. Hello. Good morning. Okay, try again. The phone lines are 0803-221-6973 or 0803-827-6694. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Franklin.
Yes, good morning. Your name?
My name is Akamere.
Akamere, go on.
Yeah, and Akamere is calling from Fegi.
Okay.
My speaker, good morning.
You're welcome.
I want to react on Omo-Agege. He's trying to leave. Told us that he has left APC. I want to say something on it. These politicians, they are selfish. I remembered when, during the time of Buhari, he was just dragging himself, even threatening the sitting governor then, the former governor, Ifeanyi. He was just threatening him, telling him that even if you feel the candidate, he will just, try you win his own candidate. That means this present one. But now, because the one has left him, they want to the camp to enter to another game. Then if he enters to another party now, you will see him, he will become a saint and will try to sing his praise. After that, you see him, he will decamp again and enter to another district. These people, they are not there for masses. They are there for their selfish interest. Look at our children there in Oyo. Look at the way they are just there, and they are still just campaigning, going for 2027 election. I think these people, they are. I don't know what to call them, but let's see what will happen this coming election.
Okay.
Thank you, myself.
Yes, thank you, Akam Mary. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes,
Mr. Frank.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
You're welcome.
This is the voice of my rotation.
Maroke, go on.
Omo-Agege. Well, I will not pity him or even be sympathetic with him, because this is a man who has disgraced that particular place he is trying to go again. Just like what you are asking, Mr. Speaker, whether he is hijacking. My brother, he stole our maize. There is a video that captured it. So anybody who is trying to paint it, you are just deceiving yourself. This man has disgraced that chamber. But rather, instead of punishing him, he was baptized with Deputy Senate President. Well, I want to advise him, he should be a good politician. Because a good politician should be ready to accept defeat. You understand? So he must accept defeat as a good politician. So my brother, gather yourself well and accept accept defeat. You understand? Then you must know that politics today it will be sweetening you. Tomorrow it will pain you. So when it is sweetening you, remember the day it may turn out to be painful. So Omo-Agege, you stop shouting and in fact, you should go and rest and wait for the next time. He has been used and talked. So he shouldn't cry as if he's the innocent one when he has in fact he's dealing with our democracy all this while. So I don't pity him.
Okay.
He should learn how to play politics and accept.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you for joining. Hello. Good morning.
Doctor.
I feel like calling him Oshomole or Wiki.
Good morning.
All right.
Good
Hello.
morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome.
Franklin. Ebuka. Good morning.
You're welcome on board.
I know you people are hearing me, but I'm not hearing you.
Go on. We can hear you. Okay.
Just like Polity is doing good in other states, I commend him so immensely for immortalizing the professor that stood her ground during the announcement of the result that brought in Polity. It is a welcome development. I commend him so very much. And just as he is doing good, let him continue to be visionary and doing good. Away from that, why would Tinubu and the presidency take concerned without rolling themselves out to observe Ide Cabre when their children are languishing in kidnappers' den? Why would he feel aggrieved or touched? Is the Primaries or Ide Cabre or even whatever, Ide Maludu, they are better than the lives of these people. That is Nigeria for you, Nigerian politicians. They can never ever think of good anybody or the citizens of this country. That's the reason why he boldly, tenaciously carried out with his subordinates to celebrate his victory. When for 2 weeks now, teachers and their pupils are in the wild bush, suffering. We have the federals, we have the police, we have the presidency in a country, so-called country. Well, it is not coming by surprise. That is the way they have been doing.
Okay.
Somebody whose house is on fire. It is in Nigeria that I'm able to say it, that he will be assessing rats. Nigerians are in hunger, penury, excruciating pains, suffering everything. The presidency is there, shuttling the whole wide world. When we are going, always telling us to be patient.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
To him. Let him continue.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. So let's take another call here. Hello. Okay, we're live on our Facebook page. You can drop your comment there, 0803-221-6973 or 0803-827-6694. Good morning.
Good morning, my speaker, Johnny Becker.
Good morning. Your name?
My name is Ignatius Okoye from Oret, Erodation Kingdom, but I'm calling from there.
Go on, sir.
Concerning the ADC primary, I'm ready to go and sit down. You cannot measure with Atiku. He's just crying wolf. I watched what during his own constituency. I mean, when his word, what they are counting there, for 70 to 80, for 80 to 99, just like that. He's just crying wolf. That they reach him. He cannot measure himself with his population with Atiku. Cannot measure him. And coming to Omo-Agege, I laughed when I saw it yesterday. You see, this is one of those things. When you are in line of power, you behave anyhow. Now the power has left him. He's crying. Let him test himself. He is popular. Let him go and test himself with another party. Let us see whether he is so popular.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your analysis. Thank you.
All right.
I'm done.
Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Wonderful morning to you, Franklin.
Good morning.
The
pleasant morning to you, my honorable speaker, Chief Dr. Lisa Becky.
You're welcome.
And a wonderful morning to you, Chisom. Honorable Austin, wishing you from TJ this very morning.
Okay.
My honorable speaker, I want to thank you so much for your wonderful analysis this very morning, more especially on the issue of very dark man and that of Bayo Ononogan. I see that man, Bayo Ononogan, as a kind of a businessman who talks before he thinks, and it's not good for democracy and for good administration in which he's trying to represent. And he's trying to let people know that this matter is that a level of treason in this alleged purported video that is flying through the internet, because your action gives credence to the authenticity of what that video implies. Yes, people are beginning to see that video as AI generated, in as much as you try to educate us properly on it, being an expert on that field. And the actions of Ononogan, what does it pertain? It pertains that there are level of treason to that video purported. Now, having acknowledged that, the issue of what plays out in Africa primary, I'm very concerned about my own local government. In fact, I say kind of jamboree and the kind of shenanigans that plays out there is nothing to write home about.
Which local government?
I'm talking about Oyi constituency.
Okay.
In the State House of Assembly. You see, there are two individuals who were announced victorious, and at a time, it seems as if one is having weight. I don't know what is playing. One is an incumbent, the other one is a kind of social media influencer, and a youth on that aspect.
Is that what you call
so
him?
I'm seeing that the Africa refused to put their house in order, and it might tear the party apart. Let's not be frank. Many people are aggrieved in this very primary. Yes, because not what they thought or what they saw was what was announced.
All right.
Let's just be frank. Now, having observed that, the issue of Omo-Agege, one thing in this life
Okay.
is...
Thank you very much. Please, let's note that we are limited by time. Well, Ibemesi, we know he's not a social media influencer. He has a thriving business. Whatever he does on social media is a part of just like a part of giving himself visibility. Now, let's talk about the post we have on our Facebook page. So, let's see the post here. Ugochukwu Frank says bandits dropped original videos of beheadings and ransom collection daily. Kidnap school children still in bush, yet the presidency's fastest response in months is to chase VDM over a clearly fake audio. And he says, priorities the shock person. Odili Aloysius says, former deputy president of the Senate, Omo-Agege, turned emergency principal man yesterday because he was not given APC tickets. This is a case of what goes around comes around. Let us not go into his activities during his time as deputy president. And he says congrats to him as he experienced what the poor man coming into politics to do experience. And he says on the Anambra North senatorial list, it will be between Senator Tony Nwoye and Stella Otua. And the question is, if okay, he's asking about, I think she was asking about whether if Otua forgot anything in the Senate. He posted from Umo-Agege. Dr. Misimo Olebaras from Owerri says governance is about the people, and any action or performance that does not put the people as number one priority is a failure. Mr. President, minors are in the midst, and they have been in the captivity for over 2 weeks under the sun and rain. You were telling us that they are not forgotten. How could you not have forgotten them when you are busy with the primary elections? Mr. Celestin says the president is not there for the interests of Nigerians, rather he is there to prioritize his own interests and no regard for the lives of the average Nigerians. And he says, for crying out loud, these children that have been the kidnappers then for almost 3 weeks now, has it been that it was his son who is there? Can he go ahead and be celebrating Salah? And he said this is absolute wickedness. Then James OK. God says the internal affairs of political parties in Nigeria is a comical one, a testament that all parties are the same in navigating their way by hook or crook or to achieve their primordial aim. When some people confidently speak on what happens in other parties as spokesperson just to smear them is laughable. The truth remains all politicians in Nigeria are the same in Nigeria, just that some are fairer than the other. Ajo Miwe Kelechi says parents should also be committed in training their children. There should be birth control law to ensure that people give birth to the number of children they can train. Parents are also responsible for some of the things that happen to their children. Most parents don't know what child training means. We should not blame government in everything. Thank you for joining. Master B says APC is doing all things possible to disable other political parties in order to continue their practices. If there is no strong opposition, corruption is a free license to stomach infrastructure. He posted from Onitsha. Promise Eni says okay, he says for those who have not collected their PVC, they should go and do so. And he says, I collected mine at my Obaru local government area. Let's wait for election 2027. He posted from Okboko. Obiawu Christopher says, I expected the presidency to concentrate on the video promise of electricity and not voting for him on the second term if he fails than devoting their full attention to the voice notes. They don't want to dwell on such areas because they had not figured out lies to tell the public on that as usual. And Alex Simba says federal government has the capacity to rescue these children, but our country is in the state of dilemma. Imagine the kind of trauma these little ones will be undergoing. Oluchichima says the government of this country can never stop making fun and jokes of themselves. We are in the middle of some serious war against terrorism in Nigeria, but the Nigerian government is busy going after political opposition and an AI video clips thinking it's real without knowing the difference between AI and real video. And then okay, trying to get to other posts here. Then this one says APC people and people who are against NDC were exposed by the fake news against Aisha's loss of senatorial seat. Okay, so he's asking whether Tony believes that she lost or not. Okay, Mazinwere says, Tony, you were making me to laugh this morning, suggesting that Mr. President would apologize to Nigerian kids. And he says, where you and I know that our politicians are not humble, and besides, can his apology bring back the kidnapped school children? Let him stop talking and show full walking. On Omo-Agege living APC, he says it is his personal decision. He posted from Odakwa. And other people who have posted, we quite appreciate you. Paul Onyeka, Mori Nuzodema, Young Obe, Okoyang Leka, thank you all for that. So, Tony, we are wrapping up, but let's talk about that thing happened in Abia State, where Oti honored Nenoti for standing for democracy. He named the new terminal that he built, bus terminal, after her. The video is out there, and the people are crucifying him. I have seen the APC in Abia State condemning the action, saying it was primordial and pecuniary. So for you, Tony, how do you place it?
Well, we know very well the person involved here, Professor Nenna Yaoti, whom we know is a prominent Nigerian academic figure, soil scientist, university administrator, first female vice chancellor of the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, that is Futo, and she has held that position since 2021. We know well that she's from Afikpo, Ebonyi State. That's where she's from. Well, I don't want to go deep into her person. We are looking at what the governor did by naming bus terminal after her. I don't see anything wrong with that, personally. Yes, it is the prerogative of the governor to name projects after individuals he thinks that have done the state proud. What is so wrong with that? Nothing. But some may have problem with the time when it is coming, because we are in election season. Probably some will say is a way to let the new returning officer that will be in charge of his own election to know that if you do what Noti has done, you will be given this. Outside the timing, which some people genuinely have concerns for, he has not done anything wrong. He saved the people of Abia State of what could have been another Imo State related incident. Yes, but in all honesty, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Okay, so on a final note, because we are leaving now, so how do you summarize?
Well, we've seen concerns coming from different quarters. The major and the most important among all these concerns is the issue of our children who are still in captivity. I believe the military have the capacity. Nigerian government, they have the capacity. They should see to the rescue of these children. Once that is done, I'll be happy. And for the fact that it has not been done, I'm not happy. And we have conflicting reports, because some people are saying that you say that NDC will be starting their primaries across different areas. That's their timetable.
Yes, all the primaries tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. You know, because these things are already there. But you can't blame some dailies that say that Aisha Daily Post reported, and there's so many of them that reported it. We have so many dailies that reported it. But just like I said, I've been able to contact the NDC, what do you call it, their web and all that, and I can also say that they will be starting their primaries tomorrow. So what that means that the earlier report by Daily Post and some other dailies, they were not true.
The first red flag for me when I saw the report is this: is it possible that somebody can emerge from a primary election and there is no returning officer named in the report? There is no number of votes polled and everything.
You just named the person who defeated her. That's just one. I know, but it was reported by some dailies.
Yeah.
But just like I did my fact checking now, that's not true.
So it could be possible that there was build for consensus.
Yeah, maybe they were building for consensus.
But for the primaries, they are all coming out tomorrow.
But that's the truth. Because they may think that they were building for, it was more like a conclave or a mock election. It could be mock, where it was, seen that the woman in view had more people compared to Aisha Yusufu, but we are talking about party primaries. That hasn't taken place.
Now, so by tomorrow, let's see how NDC is going to treat those people who rode on Peter Obi's shoulder on the Labour Party to occupy offices and left for APC, and they're trying to come back into the party. So let's see how they're going to treat them.
There are key loyalists of Peter Obi, and many of them have been assured ticket. But the point is, there are those who want to be key loyalists, but they are not. And those who rode on his back and defected, and many of them are trying to come back. There will be no space for them.
So let's see what happens tomorrow. So on that very note, we thank you for joining today's conversation. Tomorrow is going to be another edition, and we ask you to stay with us. By 11 is going to be old tunes, and then by 12 news, 12:30 is going to be Cherry Box, where you have all the gist. Thank you. This very morning. My name is Franklin Ebuka.
A city of movement.